Hello, my name is Mike LaPointe and I am not a resident of the city of Seattle. I do love where I live in Everett, but after watching the first Seattle City Council debate between my friend Shama Sawant and Richard Conlin, I find it unfortunate that I cannot vote in your city's election. Shama hit a home run against Conlin and clearly set the bar out of reach for her opponent in that first debate. Everything she laid out struck home with the audience, as was made apparent by their applause. I encourage everyone looking for a distinction between these two candidates and a clear choice for a better Seattle to go to her website and view this video on the first debate. You can find it located under the Resources tab on her homepage. Now, I'd like to take a minute to respond to the remarks of Mr. Conlin to Shama Sawant's well-placed, well-received points that although rent control is not legal in the state, neither was gay rights or civil rights. Her point is that we have to fight against these injustices. She has taken up the mantle and pledged to do her best to represent the people, implement rent control, and all the other changes needed for the city. The most pressing of these changes are incorporated in her platform. Mr. Conlin responded to Shama's remarks by immediately repeating her remarks, making the point that the state does not allow rent control. He goes on to say that even if the city council passed such controls, that the courts would strike them down. Right off, he dismisses the concerns of the majority and suggests that if Shama wishes to bring about rent control, that she should run for the legislature. So this is how he represents the community. By throwing his hands up in defeat and saying that the state legislature must decide to act on injustice in the city of Seattle? Mr. Conlin, working people are under attack in Seattle. High rents force them out of their homes and further from their places of employment, where they have to take a mass transit system that is being cut back to an unacceptable level, forcing people to spend more time getting to and from their workplace, which, on top of everything else, only supplies them with an unlivable wage. This is not an acceptable stand for a city councilman to take, and it is not by any stretch of the imagination a reason for him to deserve anyone's vote. Mr. Conlin, there is something you have had more than enough time to do, and that something is what Shama will do once she is elected. She will speak for the working men and women of Seattle in the council chamber, holding herself and the other council members accountable for any decisions made contrary to the best interest of the majority. She will join together with the people to assert their right of local self-governance, to protect the community and the environment from the destructive and unwanted influence of corporations and special interests who seek only to benefit themselves to the detriment of the majority of those living in our community. Shama Sawant is not only the best candidate for the job, she is the only qualified candidate. For affordable housing, the only candidate. For a wage to lift people out of poverty, the only candidate. For adequate, accessible, efficient, affordable public transit, the only candidate. For fairness, integrity, equal representation for all, and in Seattle, everyone agrees, sets the standards for all other cities, the only candidate is Shama Sawant. So I ask the people of Seattle, come election day, make a choice. You finally have one. Thank you.